One of the main criticisms I've heard about Persona 5 compared to the other games is that its story falls flat. I'm just gonna throw my theory out there on why I think that is. One of the main themes of Persona 5 is control and how human beings are controlled by different things. It tackles issues such as oppression, which is government or social control, and also peer pressure, which is, again, social control. It also talks about how we are controlled by our own selfish desires and just our human nature. Now, to the narrative, this feels like everything happens on script for the Phantom Thieves. It almost seems as if everything happens a little bit too smoothly for them, like there is little to no resistance between them and the main events of the story. A lot of the moments end up being gotcha moments and then they just simply get resolved with little to no issue. If you simply take the story at face value, of course that's not going to be good writing and that's not going to be appealing. However, I personally think that is done on purpose for the greater idea of the game. Spoilers ahead if you haven't finished Persona 5. When we get to the end sequence of Persona 5, either vanilla or royal doesn't really matter. We either get to face Eldabaoth, which is the god of control, or we face Maruki, who is trying to create this perfect existence and have overall control over the narrative. In either case, we get to learn one thing about control. Persona 5 makes the point that our whole existence is shaped by the things that we cannot control. Joker had no control over Shiro putting him on probation. Ann had no control over Kamoshida. Akechi had no control over his past and Futaba didn't either when her mother passed. It is no coincidence that the final boss is Yaldabaoth and that Maruki is trying so hard to defy fate. The things that happen to us outside of our control shape us, and the only way to take ownership of that is to acknowledge our lack of control. So if Persona 5 feels too scripted for you, this might be the reason. Because the Phantom Thieves only really gain their agency after they realize how little control they have over events, and that the one thing you have control over is you, yourself, and your own actions. Even the main visual with which the game got announced alludes to this idea. Everyone is a slave to their consequences and the things that they have no control over, but the one way to take ownership of that is to realize what controls you. So I think the scripted feeling of Persona 5 is the game telling you sometimes there is no choice, and sometimes things just happen, and you have to be okay with that. I personally love Persona 5's story, but tell me what you guys think.